which is a little crazy. Folks, just tell everybody to go ahead and refresh their screens. All right, and we'll be getting started. Let's see. My goodness, 3,700 people in the room. Hold on one second. Let me tell everybody to refresh. Just go ahead and tell them to refresh, guys. Tell them to refresh. Yep. Refresh and click play on the video. That should do the trick. All right. Refresh and click play on the video. That will do the trick. In the meantime, I'm gonna pull out my little good old PowerPoint here. I'm gonna share with you guys some really cool stuff here tonight. Hold on. Got my Skype going off. Need to mute that out. We'll be getting started, folks, in about a minute. Okay? In about a minute, we'll be getting rolling. There we go. All right. Yeah, just tell everybody to go ahead and refresh. I'll get a sip of water because we're going to have some fun. This is good stuff. All right, so first of all, just want to say thank you guys for all the congratulations, man. We got I got tons and tons of emails from a lot of you folks congratulating us on the new baby. We did have a new baby, and this hangout was supposed to happen actually last week on the 12th, but we were in the hospital actually. Precisely on the 12th, we were in the hospital, at the hospital, but everything is cool. You know, the baby Ilona is doing awesome, Mama is doing awesome. Back home, feeling blessed, you know. Now we have 5 kids. I mean, it's, you know, sometimes when I think about it, it's like, wow, you know, not even 30 yet. But yeah, everybody's back and, you know, back to business. So, you know, if you guys expected this to be last week, you know, if you got an email or whatever, sorry about that. But we're going to do this hangout today. All right. Now, I assume that most of you guys have an idea, right, as to who I am and, you know, a little bit about what we do, what I do on the internet, a little bit about my story. I'm not going to go into that in detail today on this hangout. This hangout, what I wanted to do is I wanted to keep it down to the nitty-gritty, right, and just talk about traffic generation. Precisely, I wanted to cover some advanced traffic media strategies, right? How to buy traffic, how to leverage yourself as a marketer, and really just go out there and create the lifestyle that you want, right? I mean, we talk about there's a lot of components that needs to be in place for online marketers to be successful, right? Of course, we talk about the mindset, we talk about the structure of the business, and all that stuff is important. Right now, what I wanted to focus on, though, is I wanted to focus specifically, precisely on this area of traffic generation. Been getting tons and tons of emails, and actually just surveyed people as well, just to kind of see what you guys wanted to learn more about. And it seems that traffic generation is this one thing that everybody wants to learn more about. So I figured, you know, I said, well, you know, that's kind of my expertise. You know, I've been a student of traffic generation for about seven years now, maybe a little bit more. I'm talking about like full-time, hardcore, you know, really just dedicated myself to learning as much as I could about, you know, generating traffic, different ways, different strategies, different methods, and, you know, a lot of testing and trial and error, a lot of, you know, fell flat on my face a lot of times, you know, when I was just getting started with this thing. But I believe that when you master, when you focus on learning this traffic getting game, right? When you understand how to get traffic, everything else will be easier for you. Okay, and so what I wanted to do is just basically talk about and give you guys some really good stuff. Okay, I'm not sure, you know, I'll try to keep this hangout to about an hour, maybe 90 minutes. But in this next, you know, 60 to 90 minutes, I want to give you guys so much in value that this particular training could be worth at least $2,000 for you minimum. Okay, in fact, I think I'll make it even better than that. Okay, so pay attention, you know, get yourself something to write with, take a lot of notes, because this stuff, I hope that you take this stuff, you know, I hope that you implement this and run with it and just, you know, you know, get a bunch of traffic and make a bunch of money with it, you know. There's going to be nothing for sale. I'm not here to sell you guys anything whatsoever, so, you know, keep your wallets in a different room. This is purely value-based hangout. Okay. Let's see. For those of you guys who don't know me, I got started online about 8 years ago, maybe eight and a half years ago, maybe 9. I mean, it was 2005 when I got started on the internet, and you know, tried to figure out how this internet marketing thing works, and you know, was fortunate enough to get myself a mentor, found a mentor who taught me some things, and just over the years, you know, just kind of progressed and developed my own strategies and my own you know, perspectives on things and how this works, and I did lots and lots of testing. You know, a lot of people start on the internet, they don't, you know, they just expect everything to be, you know, a home run from the get-go. You know, they just expect everything to go smoothly right away, and a lot of times that's not the case, right? You know, so if you're running into some bumps right now in the road, don't get discouraged. You know, the easiest thing to do is just get discouraged and just say, well, this thing doesn't work. You know, it's a scam, whatever. Just move on and just jump ships onto, you know, different opportunities, thinking that the opportunity is going to make you successful, but reality is it's not. You know, it's basically fundamentals that's going to make you successful. And one of the fundamentals we're going to cover today is traffic generation. I want you guys, and in fact, what we're going to do, oh, actually here, let me do this. Let me do something better. Let me go ahead and do a screen share with everybody here so you guys can see. I don't think you want to look at my face for the next hour. I think you just want to get some really good content. In fact, let me know, guys, what if you guys can hear me okay, just please hit, give me like a Y or a yes, or yes, we can hear you, or something in the comments. I know this thing is like a minute delayed by a minute, but I will be able to see you, see your comments. So just let me know in the comments if you can hear me, if you can see me okay. And then I'm going to bring up this, bring this up right here. Why is it that Google keeps changing their stuff every time? You guys know? Oh, man. All right. Let me see if we can do this right. Screen share. I'm going to share my desktop with everybody. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and get this party started. All right, you guys should be able to see my good old PowerPoint presentation. I actually took the time to put this together for you, believe it or not. You know, so we're just gonna dive right into this, and I hope you guys take notes. Now, this is part 1 of 3. Okay, so what I decided to do is I decided to take a step further and just give you guys so much in value that is going to absolutely blow your mind. You know what? My intention is this. My intention is I want you, by the time, if you're going to stick, we're going to have about 3, there's going to be 3 sections to this training, okay? Today we're going to start, we're going to cover a lot of ground we're going to cover tonight, okay? We're going to have part 2, and then we're going to have part 3. And by the time, my goal, in fact, let me give you this agenda. All right, here's the agenda, guys. I want to teach you how to get tons and tons of very, very good, highly targeted traffic. In fact, some of this stuff I never taught yet, okay, because I was personally experimenting with this, and I never teach from theory. I never teach from something that I just heard or saw somebody else teach. I always teach from experience, okay? So I was testing a lot of things here over the last several months, a lot of different you know, networks and media buys and things like that. So I'm gonna be teaching you guys some new stuff here tonight. Okay, like I said, it's gonna be a 3-part advanced training series, and you know, you guys may want to stick around for all 3 series. Okay, because we can easily do this as a create this and then package it up as a course, and then, you know, sell it to other people who did not attend these hangouts, and this thing can easily sell for, you know, premium price. But of course, you guys get it for free. Now, I want to, again, this is what I want to accomplish here with you. I want to give you a huge edge over other marketers that's out there. Okay, so people who are not here, you know, they will not know, because here's the reality. You know, most people have no idea how to get traffic. Most people have no idea what it takes to really become successful online. So when you guys learn this stuff, you will have a huge advantage over everybody else out there. Bottom line is, I just want your success story. If you can take this information, right, if you can apply this in your marketing, if you can take this out there, put it to work, Let me know how it goes for you. Hit me up on Facebook, whatever. That's, guys, that's really what I want, okay? Here's the truth, okay? We're just going to cover some fundamentals to make sure that everybody's on the same page, and I'm going to hit you guys with some really, really serious stuff, okay? Here's the thing. Traffic for your business, all right, is not everything, folks, but it's probably as important as oxygen for humans or the fuel for vehicles. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like, you know, people say, well, what's most important, heart or head, right, for humans? I mean, everything's important, right? And oxygen is important. It's just like people say, well, money is not important. You know, come on, man, don't be silly, don't be foolish. You know, money is just as important as oxygen. Now, you know, you know, if you take away oxygen, you know, from humans, obviously we're not going to survive for very long. If you take away traffic from your business, okay, what's going to happen? Your business will not survive. You can have the prettiest, the awesomest website. You can be promoting the awesomest opportunity, whatever. You can be getting 1,000% compensation plan, right? You don't get anybody visiting your offer. You don't make any money, right? So traffic obviously is important, but here's the truth. Most people, most marketers, they simply overcomplicate a very simple thing, okay? Guys, I want you to understand one thing. Traffic getting is one of the simplest and easiest things that you will learn how to do as an internet marketer, period. Okay, I'm going to prove that to you tonight. There is virtually unlimited, folks. I'm going to, and if I can underline, I hope you can see my cursor here. It's virtually unlimited. There is unlimited amounts of traffic out there. Again, I'm going to prove it to you tonight, okay, that you can tap into regardless of your budget. You know, if you got 50 bucks, if you got 20 bucks, if you got $5,000 you want to spend on this thing. And when you do it right, man, there's truly, the sky is the limit, you know. No such thing as free traffic. I just want to put it out there to make sure that you guys understand. You know, a lot of people talk about, you know, free traffic, and they say paid marketing doesn't work and this and that. Listen, there is no such thing as free traffic. You either pay for it with your time or your money, okay? But there is no such thing as free traffic. Bottom line is, when you master traffic generation, okay, you can write your own paycheck anywhere, any business opportunity, any company, anything that you do or touch on the internet, you will dominate. Okay. Now I want to give you guys a couple tips that I think will be worth $1 million to you. Ready? Here's one. Dig your own well. Okay, if you haven't heard that quote yet, it's because I invented it. You know, gotta invent something, right? Dig your own well. You know, I was actually at the event. I think it was Denver, maybe Chicago, maybe Denver. And I was up on stage speaking to Empower Network folks, and you know, and I said this phrase for the first time. It actually just hit me up on the stage when I was speaking. I'm like, you know, when it comes to traffic, you just have to dig your own well. So many people rely on Facebook, and they rely on somebody to get them traffic on these co-ops. It's just ridiculously silly these days, right? I mean, people are getting ripped off, and they're dependent on other people, you know, for this stuff. You never want to depend on anybody or anything for traffic, all right? You want to dig your own well so that you can have your own water to drink out of, all right? And when you have that, folks, nobody can take it away from you, and you don't have to depend on anybody or anything. You know, if you're dependent on Google or SEO right now, listen, what if it changes tomorrow, right? All of a sudden you don't have a business. My thing when it comes to traffic is this. And I'll just be, you know, candid with you. I'll just talk with you, you know, openly here, folks. Okay, I want to position my business to work with the system, and I'm going to explain to you what that means in a minute. Okay, I don't want to work against the system. You know, here's the reality: a lot of people, a lot of marketers, right? And I was one of them. All right, I was trying to build my business. And set it up to work against the system. And what I mean by the system, well, folks, think about it. Internet is built on what? Put in the comments below. What do you think the internet is built on? The internet. I'll answer it for you. The internet is built on advertising. It's right there. Okay. It's built on advertising. Bottom line. So the advertising, folks, advertising is what drives the internet. It what drives you know, everything. All right, everything. Facebook is powered by what? Advertising. Okay, yep, they're free platform, they're social media, but it's powered by advertising. You know, Google is powered by what? Advertising. Okay, so when I say work with the system, here's the thing. When you learn to work with how, internet was intended, all right, and if you can figure this out, if you can figure out how to, if you can master paid marketing and media buying, and when you hear the word like paid marketing, a lot of people freak out. A lot of people think, well, I don't have the money, I don't have this. Folks, listen. Like I said, there is no such thing as free marketing, right? But when you master paid marketing and media buying, and it can be as simple as for as low as, $5, $10, $20 to get started, to get going. But see, what you're doing is you're working with the system, okay? And nobody will, nobody will turn you down. Nobody will shut your traffic off. Nobody will slap you. Nobody will, as long as you're playing by the rules, right? And we're going to talk a lot about the rules and exactly how you do it. I'll actually show you specific examples. We'll take you behind the scenes and behind my back, if you will, and show you this stuff. But if you're taking notes, just write this down. You want to position your business to work with the system, because when you work with the system, there is virtually unlimited opportunity for you out there. Okay, and again, we're going to prove that to you. Now, here's different types of traffic. All right, and guys, get ready, because this thing gets pretty crazy, and we're going to cover a lot of them, obviously. But I just want you to get an idea, get a glimpse. Okay, there's pay-per-click, there's pay-per-view, obviously, pay-per-call, which is a fairly new thing. There's email newsletters, there's solo ads, email media buying, right? Some of this stuff we heard about. There's email traffic agencies. This thing is actually pretty hot. When you figure this out, I might actually teach you on this maybe here in the near future. But that's pretty hot. I've been having really good success with those. There's SEO, organic searches, right? There's blogging, there's affiliate networks, banner media, there's CPA media, there's social media, there's mobile, there's content syndication, there's retargeting, video traffic, right? There's more. There's offline traffic exchanges, RSS, whatever, right? Blah blah blah. We're just gonna move on, right? There's tons and tons and tons of traffic generation. Different sources we can tap into. Now, as a marketer, here's your goal. Okay, think about it. If you're only dependent on, for example, if you're only dependent on Facebook, or maybe you are only dependent on maybe JV traffic. I know that my background, I come from direct sales, affiliate marketing world. I promoted a lot of stuff on ClickBank before, before starting Big Idea Mastermind and coming with Empower Network. But I in that particular world, and I know there's probably a few of you guys that come from that kind of stuff, right? To where a lot of people just depend. A lot of these big dogs, big marketers that a lot of us look up to them as like superstars, right? Well, these guys really have no clue how to do any of this. They are basically just relying simply on JV traffic. One guy promotes another guy's stuff, and they just push offers to their list, and that's about it. They master that stuff. But the reality, or the downside to that is, it's only one thing, and there is only so much traffic that's available through, for example, JVs, right? What if you just do Facebook? Well, Facebook is obviously a giant platform, but what if Facebook just slaps you, or maybe they come up with with something that all of a sudden your business gets slapped, and you don't have a business, right? So you don't want to depend on any one source particular. Now, everything can work very well, all right? Everything works, but here's another thing. Nothing works 100%. Okay? Everything can work, but nothing works 100%. If you want to build a business on the foundation of a stone, okay, which I assume that you do, otherwise I don't think you would be here. When you're building your business, it's always best to master as many of these outlets as possible. Okay, so that way you can have, you can have pay-per-call, you can have pay-per-view, you can have pay-per-click working for you, you can have banner media working for you, maybe you can have offline media working for you, maybe you can have JV traffic working for you. So when you have 5, 6, 7 different sources of traffic coming and funneling people to your website, right? You don't have to depend Yeah, you don't have to worry about, what happens if Google slaps you. You know what? I don't use Google personally. Guys, in the last, I've been building Big Idea Mastermind and Empower Network business over the last 11, like 11 months now. And but before that, I was, I was doing a lot of media buys. I was doing a lot of traffic buys, and I was getting traffic to affiliate stuff, and promoted my own stuff. And I never, for the last probably good 4 years, I have nothing to do with Google. Okay, I don't play with Google at all. Okay, I don't have to, because I know all this other stuff. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about a lot of them. What I do want to focus on tonight, what I thought would be, we would kick this off with is just talk about straight up advanced media buying, and in particular, what we would talk about is I want to keep it simple, folks. Okay, I don't know how many of you guys are advanced marketers. I don't know how many of you guys are just getting started, but I think if we just keep this down to keep it very, very simple, so that everybody can understand this, okay, then then we can move on to the other stuff, maybe our next part 2 or part 3. Okay, but I think what I'm going to cover tonight, this media buying thing is going to be enough for you to go out there and just literally tap into millions and millions and millions of visitors out there. Okay, media buying in particularly, this strategy I have been personally working and testing a lot over the last year. You can say full time. Okay, it's been media buying. Basically, it's one of the, in my opinion, and again, everything I'm going to tell you, folks, I forgot to tell you this in the beginning, but everything I'm going to tell you is my perspective. Okay, now I may be wrong, I may be right. I'm not going to guarantee you're going to get any results with this information. What I will tell you though is the stuff that I'm going to teach you allowed me to build giant list. My personal list from implementing these sources, I was able to build my personal list to about over 300,000 people right now, and this stuff allowed me to make a lot of money. I'm not, I don't want to brag or boast here, but this stuff works. Okay, this stuff plain and simple works, and I'm just going to tell you for the stuff that worked for me and how I did it and how you can model this. Okay. Basically, the idea is this: we're going to simply buy banner space on other websites, but we're going to do it in a way that most people don't think about. Okay, there's a whole different ball game that's out there that I'd say 99% of marketers have no idea how to do. Media buying, specifically banner media buying, it used to be predominantly used by brand advertisers, but recently, in recent, probably 5, 6, 7 years, the technological changes allowed direct response folks like us, like you and me, to enter the game, and it's really good. Now, companies like, Toyota and we see all these companies who advertise and spend millions and millions of dollars on brand advertising. Super Bowl. I mean, these folks just throwing out. They have an allocated budget, right? Like $1 million, or like Honda, for example, right? They have a budget of like, we're going to spend $2 million a month just on brand awareness, building brand awareness, right? And so they have a certain percentage of that money, of that fund, going into media buying online, and they don't care. They don't track their ROI. They don't track what's coming back to them, how it performs. They just want to put stuff out there. Well, obviously we don't have that kind of budget, and we're smarter than that, right? So we're direct response marketers. What we want is immediate ROI. Okay. Excuse me. We can buy millions of banner impressions for pennies per thousand. I'm going to show you guys how to do that tonight. Okay. And media buying, this particular one, is generally done on a CPM basis, which is cost per 1,000 impressions. Again, I'm going to explain all this stuff for you folks. Okay. Now, there's three types of media buys. There's three types of buys that we can do. And this is important to know because a lot of folks, they're just kind of throwing money out there blindly. They have no idea what they're doing, and they're completely reversing this, you know, upside down. Okay, there is what I call direct buy. There is the intermediate buy, and there is the network buy. Okay, I'm going to explain to you what this means in a moment. Most folks, they're just going into like network. You know, they're approaching networks and they're just doing networks buy, and that's a wrong way to do it. Some of them use intermediate buys, and then very few people go after direct buys. What we want to do is I'm going to explain actually how each one of these works, and then how each one of these is different, and then you know how basically what can you do after watching tonight's hangout and this training. What can you do to start tapping into this traffic that's available? And folks, hundreds of millions of impressions. I'm going to actually show you, and we can actually tap into that traffic and get visitors. Get this, we can get visitors for as low as 10 cents to 60, 70, 80 cents. Very, very on the high end. Okay, typically anywhere from about 30 to 60 cents per visitor. Okay, per visitor. But the cool thing with this is our visitor is going to be super targeted. Okay, we're not going to worry about people trying to send us junk stuff. When we get visitors, those visitors are very, very targeted. Okay, I'm going to show you how to target them tonight. Now, here is direct buy. Okay, let's kind of touch upon each one of these. Somebody's saying slow down. Folks, I'm just going to go. I don't want this hangout to go for... Okay. All right, Paul. We got Paul, one of our moderators here. He's telling me to slow down. Dude, I'm like, I think I... Hold on a sec here. Let me take a look at these comments. Cutting out on your end. Is my sound okay, folks? Let me know real quick before we move on. I'm going to slow down. Now, what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and leave this presentation for you guys on, and it's going to be on this same page, and you can just come back and you can watch it, okay? If you want to, and you can take notes. But there's a lot, folks. I'm going to show you a lot of stuff tonight. If you're trying to write every single thing down, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it better for you. I'm going to see if we can post this presentation, this PowerPoint, somewhere on this page for you guys to download. You guys like that idea? If you like that idea, let me know in the comments, and we can move on. Oh, by the way, since we're taking a pit stop here, on your right, you guys will notice there is a gift that I'm going to give you. I promised you guys something free, right, tonight. It's called the 48-hour traffic machine. I created that here about a week and a half ago or so. It's another cool traffic getting strategy that you can apply. Don't get distracted with that right now, though. You can claim it just by hitting the link on the right after the hangout. Is that cool? I don't want you guys to get distracted because that stuff is yours. You can keep it, but I want you to focus on this stuff right here, okay? Because we never know if technology does something crazy for us or to us, then we may get screwed. Okay, I think we're good to go. Again, I'll see if I can post this presentation somewhere for you guys to download after this hangout. All right, direct buys, right? Here, let me go back here, okay? So three types of buying, boom. There's direct buy, there's intermediate buy, and there is network buy, okay? Direct buy is where everybody should be starting, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depends how you want to look at it, right? Almost everybody, they're not doing it. Very, very few marketers are doing it, and out of those who do this, very, very few of those actually do it right. Okay, if you've been trying to to buy media specifically with banners. You want to really pay attention here because this is going to be good. Now, direct buy is very, very good for starters. Okay, if you're just getting started, it gives you an ability to start small. Okay, it gives you an ability to start small. Now, basically, what you do is you go directly to the owner of the website to buy ad space, and there is no middleman. Okay, when I say no middleman, everything's going to click and everything's going to make sense to you as we here in the next few minutes. Okay, when I cover some other stuff. You get much cheaper price for banner inventory, okay, when you do direct buy, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. The one thing that I personally like really about doing direct buys is that I can build personal relationship with the site owner, okay? Now, that can be a very good asset for you down the road in your business, okay? If you can build these relationships, because in this business, guys, it's not necessarily what you know. What you know is important, and you need to know this stuff, yeah? But it's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know, right? So, just like with solo ads, like with traffic agencies and direct media buys for banner ads, if you can build relationships with folks who are influential, with people who have, big sites and big networks, and if you can build relationship with representatives of big networks, that's an asset for you. That has its weight in gold. Okay. I think I missed. All right. With direct buys, you can negotiate exclusive deals, pop-up ads, and even email drops. And I'll show you. I'll give you guys an example of what I did and how I actually came across this, totally by accident. This was a few years ago, actually, with a direct buy. But one of the things that you can do is for example, you can go to a site owner, right, to a publisher, okay, that has a big site. And you can negotiate with him deals that's exclusive for you. So let's say if you promote a product, you can say, hey, I'd like to promote this on your site and get an exclusive agreement with you for this particular product. So you don't promote your stuff right alongside with other competitors who are promoting the same thing. Does that make sense? So we can do that with direct buy. Another thing what we can do is, and I've done this too, is you can negotiate what's called a pop-up ads to where, let's say somebody has a blog, right, a popular blog, and you can contact this blog owner. Generally, you're not going to do this on the first contact, right? So first, you may just need to simply buy a banner or whatever, place it and see how it goes for you. But assuming that everything goes well, you can come back to him when you renew your banner or whatever, or you can just come back and just say, hey man, you love your stuff, you got an awesome blog. Would you be able to sell a pop-up ad for me to where I can give you I can give you basically an ad, right? That can be a huge banner, that can be like an oversized banner, and you just put it as a pop-up on your blog. When somebody visits your blog, okay, what they see is they just see a banner that pops up on his blog. And when people click on that, right, there's obviously a call to action, they get taken to your site. Believe it or not, a lot of these guys will do that for you, okay, and it's not that expensive. Again, I'm going to show you how you can do that. A lot of times these folks will even have an email list that you can negotiate an email drop. Again, most marketers don't do this because they don't think that, a lot of people just don't think outside the box. I mean, as a marketer, you always want to think of different ways. How can you get traffic? Because traffic is like, basically it's people visiting your site. That's traffic, okay? And if you could just keep it simple, keep it as simple as possible, basically it comes down to this. How can you get 500 people to see your website today? And then how can you get 500 new people to see your site tomorrow? Okay, or 1,000 people or 2,000 people, okay? And so then you just basically strategize and think a little bit outside the box, think a little bit logically, right? Just kind of detach yourself from your business and look at your business from, 30 feet up above, if you will, right? And you will see these other opportunities that might be available to you out there that most people don't think about. Like, for example, I went to one of the blog owners, and this dude has a giant blog. And I'm talking to him, I'm buying an ad, I'm like, hey man, it looks like you're collecting emails, right? So you have an email list? He's like, yeah. I go, can I purchase a solo ad from you? Can I purchase an email drop from you? He's like, yeah. So he, I don't remember how much I paid him, like $300 or something. He emailed to his list of like 200,000 people. Okay, and I got tons and tons of visitors back to my site from that email drop. I think my ROI on that was through the roof. Okay. Again, something to think about. Now, finding publishers for direct buys. Let me kind of show you guys how to do that. It's actually very, very easy to do. Okay, if you are promoting, here's one thing I'm going to do tonight. I don't want to funnel this particular training for any one product in particular. Okay. I don't want this to be about Empower Network or about, whatever product out there. You can apply this information to anything out there. You can be promoting anything. You can be promoting, CPA offers. You can be promoting opportunities. You can be building your multi-level marketing company. You can be doing anything with this, right? And as long as you are, if you just think, how can you tweak this information? How can you apply this to your niche, to your business? Folks, this is generic so that you can apply this to anything and you will get phenomenal results with it, okay? Or at least I hope you do, okay? So basically what you do is you just go to Google, all right, and just search for your keyword plus a blog. That's very, very basic, okay? You can get more fancy with that, but that's basically how I go about it. Just the keyword, affiliate marketing blog, network marketing blog, weight loss blog, dog training blog, eating healthy blog, whatever, right? Keyword plus the word blog. Or you can go directly to the publisher from the intermediary. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can do that as well. This is actually a shortcut that you can do, and this can work really well as well. Okay, then what you do is you research the site to make sure that it gets a lot of unique, fresh visitors. Now, there is no point of me advertising or placing a banner on a blog that gets, let's say, 50,000 visitors per month, but those visitors are repeat visitors. Okay, if the blog or the website I'm advertising on, if they get repeat visitors and there is no fresh visitors, no unique visitors coming in every single month, right? There is really no point for me to even run my ad there for more than maybe like a month. Okay, so once those people saw my stuff, I might as well just take it down because it's going to be wasting time, wasting money. Okay. Then I'll just check in on the comments and see what if you guys are still with me here. Okay. Looks like you guys are. Yeah, Google changed the keyword thing. I will talk about that maybe on the next Hangout. I'll show you. It's actually they just renamed it. I mean, they still have it. They actually improved it a little bit. It's still free. It used to be Google Keyword Tool. It's still there, but it's just named differently, and it's located in a different spot now. So no worries, guys. No worries. It's still there. All right. Basically, then you just contact the website owner and inquire about buying banner ads. Okay, as simple as that, and you always negotiate. Okay, now let me show you guys what I did. Okay, let me show you one of the examples, and again, I'm going to be brief here because I don't want this to be. I'll just show you one of the sites where I personally where I bought ads. I don't remember what keyword I was going after. Heck, I'll just, for time's sake, and it's been a whole 40 minutes already. Here's a big marketer. His name is John Chow. Okay, John Chow. He's a pretty big blogger in the internet marketing niche. Okay, a lot of you guys probably know him. But this is an example. Again, don't the sites I'm going to present to you guys. Don't just run out there and just bombard him with trying to buy an ad. Okay, I'm just showing you this for example purposes because there's tons and tons of these bloggers. Okay, guys, that you can find. So, but this is initially how I discovered it. I contacted this guy. And it was a while back, and I looked at this site, right, and he's got a blog. And look at these banners, right? This is a banner right here. This is a little banner right here. This is his subscribe to my blog thingy, right? He's got 253,000 subscribers, okay, readers. He's got banner here. He's got a bunch of banners here, right? So anytime when you are searching on Google, okay, about whatever your topic is, and when you come across a blog that has banners, guess what? You can advertise there. Okay, basic, yes, I know it's basic. Okay, and what you do is just go to, a lot of times if you just go on the bottom, it's going to be somewhere on the bottom, or in this case, it's up at the top. Okay, it says advertise. You click on advertise and, contact the guy and say, hey, I'd like to do some business with you. Okay, are you interested? And he's going to say, give me some money, and you're down. You say, all right, here's my money, here's my ad, and he's going to run your ad, right? As simple as that. I want to, there's a couple of things that you guys need to understand, though, okay? And I want to make sure that everybody understands. Hold on a sec here. What I want to do, okay, what I want to do is, I said this in my other training, so I'm going to repeat that, and then I'm going to show you guys the new advanced stuff, because this stuff is basic right here, okay, but still there's a lot of people who don't understand. Here's what I do, okay. The first thing I do is when you come across a blog, okay, whether it's on YouTube or whatever that you want to inquire about, the very first thing I do is I go to alexa.com, okay. I go to alexa.com, and you might need to do to expand your screen full, this video full screen so you can see better, if you're watching this on YouTube or something. And I just want to check the ranking for this particular site, okay? See how it's ranked. And the rule of thumb here is I want to advertise on sites that are ranking this number right here for the global rank. I want that to be in the within the first 100,000, okay? Obviously, the lower this number, the better. The lower this number, the better. Google, I think, is number 1, or maybe Facebook is number 1. Okay, so if it's under 10,000, it's awesome. Okay, if it's under 5,000, even better. Okay, and then this is a country. So you just want to make sure that the site gets a lot of traffic. If the site is ranked like 300,000 or 400,000, forget about it. Okay, you're not going to get any good traffic from it. Okay. Let's move on here. Intermediate buy. This is going to get a little bit interesting, guys. Okay. Intermediate buys is a really cool strategy to where when you start playing with this, okay, you can find, first of all, a bunch of direct buys. You can find a bunch of those direct publishers where you can go to and negotiate deals. But with intermediate, this is an awesome way for beginners and seasoned marketers to get started. Okay, basically what this is. It's a small ad network that connects publishers with advertisers. Okay, and there's lots of them. There's a lot of them. Intermediate buys networks. So these are not like huge giant ad networks. These are small ad agencies, if you will. Okay, maybe an agency would be a better word to describe it. And they act as a middleman between the publisher and advertiser. Now, they do take, with intermediate buy, when you guys do that, I'm going to show you actually a couple examples here, and we'll actually do, we might even run a campaign together so you just see how that works. When you go there, the prices are going to be a little bit more expensive, okay, just a little bit more expensive, generally about 20% more expensive, but you can select a lot of different sites to run with or to advertise on specifically, and you can find those all from the same spot. Okay, most of them have 100% self-serve platforms, which is nice. You can control your banners, you can control everything, all your ads and campaigns. Advertisers with small budgets can buy ads at fixed monthly or CPM. CPM is cost per 1,000 impressions, and even CPC, okay, like WAM Network and Exaclick. I'm going to show you guys those in a minute. Okay, and the cool thing about intermediate buys is you know exactly where your banners are placed, and this is perfect for doing your research for potential direct buys. Hold on one second. here are some intermediate agencies, okay, where we can go to. There's a web network, there's the Exoclick, buy ads, buy sell ads, and on you. Now, there is more, and I'll include this in the PDF. Maybe I'll post it for you guys, but there is more. These are a couple, okay? Let me show you how this is done. If you guys are taking notes, it might be useful for, because teaching and talking about this thing is one, but let me see if we can actually do something together here, okay? Jump online. Let me show you. I'm going to go to buy sell ads first, okay? Buy sell ads. This is an intermediate buy. Here, look at this. Okay, they list what's hot categories. There's featured categories, and there's all these other categories here. Okay. Now, again, like I said, you can promote anything. You can promote. This works. This particular approach works really well if some of you guys are into like CPA offers. If you're promoting CPA offers, like if you're promoting something that has to do with iPhone, right? Type it in here. Look at that. 116 million monthly impressions, right? 100 million monthly impressions. 43 million monthly impressions. Okay, 12 million. These are just individual sites. All right, individual sites. 27 million monthly impressions. Okay. So if I wanted to target these guys, let's say if I wanted to, and look at this. This is $3 per 1,000 impressions. Okay, 75. This is for mobile. Okay, 75 cents per 1,000 impressions. Now, what I would like to do here's how I approach this. Okay, I'll give you guys a lot of really good tips because this can get a little complicated. I mean, this can get a little confusing for some folks. Okay, and especially if you have never done this before, it might look overwhelming a little bit, right? But don't worry, Big's got your back. Guys, I've been doing this for a little bit, so I'll tell you what to focus on first. Now, there's different types of banners, right? There's 728 by 90. And if you have questions like, Vic, where do I create banners? Where do I do that? Don't worry, I'm going to explain that to you, okay? Just kind of sit back and just try to absorb this. I know it's going to get a little deep here, but just try to relax and don't panic, all right? Check this out. This particular site, okay, what I'd like to do is, first of all, I'm going to take this. See, 9to5mac.com, okay? I'm going to go to good old alexa.com, 9to5mac.com. Check this out. This site is ranked in the top 5,000, okay, global. Now, if you look at, Alexa just made it so, you need to have an account with them to see all the previous, I think, stats, I assume. But just looking at this graph here, going back to 2012, it's been pretty steady, okay? So it's not like all of a sudden they just launched and, they just had a big launch and you don't really know what it's going to do. This site has been around, looks like, for a while, and it's been steady for traffic, okay? See in the top 5,000 here, between 5 and 10,000 it's kind of jumping, maybe 5 and 15,000, which is nice, okay? Now, I come back here and take a look. $4 per 1,000 impressions. That means that this banner right here, 728 by 90, we can actually go to this site. Okay, check this out. Click on it. It's going to take us to the site. Okay, this is what the site looks like. Now, let's take a look at what they got. There's a banner. Okay, so leaderboard, top center. Okay, 728 by 90. And I wonder, I bet this is probably this one right here, okay? 728 by 90. I bet it's this one right here. So, couple tips. Number one, if you can buy a banner that's above the fold, okay? What do I mean by above the fold? Above the fold is when you open a site and what your eye sees before scrolling down is above the fold. Now, this area is above the fold. When I scroll down, this stuff is below the fold because I have to scroll for it, okay? So tip number one, okay? Always try to buy banners above the fold. if you're getting started. So this particular banner here on this site, it would be, you know, I can actually tap into 18 million impressions per month for $4 per 1,000. Okay, let me get my good old calculator because I like to work with calculators. Here's what I look at. Okay, so it's going to cost me $4, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to negotiate this down. My first thing, what I'd like to do is I'd like to negotiate this down to $2 per 1,000 if I can, or less. Okay, and the way I'm going to do that is this: I'm going to approach this network, okay, or I'm going to approach this agency. I'm going to say, hey, look, you got to keep in mind, you know, agencies, they also have, you know, they also profit from this as well. Okay, and guys, it looks like just my comments just disappeared. I don't know if it disappeared for you or not. Paul, if you can Skype me, man, or text me or something, let me know if the comments, maybe if we need to get Jared on it or something, let him know. We might have some server issues because of the number of people. But here's $4 per 1,000 impressions. Okay, so if I buy 100,000 impressions, okay, that would be 100 times 4. Okay, $4. Even if I did not negotiate, that would cost me $400 to get 100,000 impressions. Okay, $400. Now, here's how I do my math. Okay, let me open my thing here. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'll make it bigger. So let's say if I wanted to buy 100,000 impressions, okay, that would cost me, without negotiations, $400. Okay, I want to negotiate it down to $200 if possible. Okay, and how I'm going to do that is I'm going to approach this agency. I'm going to say, hey, look, I have a big budget. I have deep pockets. Okay. But I'd like to run a test with you for this particular. I mean, there is 18 million impressions available in inventory per month. Okay, obviously for me to get all that would be a lot of money. But I'm gonna say, hey, if I can make this work, okay, I'm gonna give you a lot of money. That's my approach. Okay, and I'm gonna try to negotiate it down to $200 because there is a also, there is a profit that the agency has on top, okay? So there is a markup. That's my goal. Here's something else, okay? So if I'm going to promote an offer, okay, I get 100,000 impressions. Generally, what I see on average, okay, if you target your stuff correctly, which I'm going to show you how to do. Okay, give you guys some really good insights on how to target your banners correctly. Okay, what usually will happen is this is on the low average side. Okay, I'd rather be conservative. Is there is a 0.5%, so there's a 0.5% click-through rate. Okay, CTR, click-through rate. So if I have 5% or 0.5% click-through rate, I will have, what is that? I'm terrible at math. Gotta use my calculator. So we'll get 100,000 impressions. Okay, 100,000 times 0.005, right? 0.5%. That would mean 500 clicks. Okay, is this right? 0.5% times 0.005. I think that, yep, that's 0.5%. Yep, 500. Yep. Okay, 500 clicks. Now check this out. If I get that, okay, and I spend $400 to get 500 clicks, that is not very hot. Okay, this would be an example to where I would either need to negotiate it down, okay, or I'm not going to go for this offer. Okay, because this is a little bit too much. I want my click to cost under $1. You guys with me? If If I can get a click for 60 or 80 cents per click, okay, of targeted traffic, and I can turn that into a profit, if I can if I can have my return on my investment 100%, if I can get a click for 60 cents and make $1.20, okay, that's the idea, folks, okay? Now, you know, when I found that, right, let's say I find a site that will allow me to do that based on my estimated numbers, and I test it, and I you know, and that's the case, you know what? I just found myself a well of fresh water I can drink out of. Okay, and there are sites. I'm going to show you. Let's see if we can find this together. There are sites that will allow you to do that. Okay, to where you can tap into, you know, millions of impressions and get your clicks for as low as 60, 70, you know, cents per click. Okay, but in this example, this would be, you know, I would definitely try to negotiate it down to 200 because I'm a direct marketer. You know, I'm a direct response type guy, right? I'm not there to just, you know, get myself brand awareness. I don't need that. I need ROI. So I would come back to this guy and I'd say, hey, look, you know, you're asking $400 for 100,000 impressions. If I can get it down to 200, okay, because at $400, that would be, oops, I'll get 500 clicks on average, approximately. Now that might be more, you know, maybe my CTR is going to be 0.75 or something, you know. I'm just, again, keeping it on the low end. 500 clicks that I would get estimated, right, divided by $400, that would be, actually, we need to do it the other way around. $400 divided by 500 clicks. Okay, that would be 80 cents per click. Now, that's on the borderline, okay, 80 cents per click. If I can get this down to 200, okay, which there is a good possibility I might, okay, divided by 500 clicks, estimated, okay, I hope you guys are with me. That will give me 40-cent clicks, okay? Now, if I can get a click for 40 cents, if I can get 500 clicks, okay, if I can spend 200 bucks, okay, let's say I get 500 clicks, and I get 2% conversions, right? 2% conversions on my product, and let's say my product sells for whatever. Let's say it's 50 bucks, okay? Equals. Again, I'm just thinking out loud here, okay? So 500. Because before I run an offer, a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people just throw in money blindly. They never estimate, you know. 500 times 0.2%, that would be 10 sales times 50 bucks. That would be 500 bucks, okay? See, if I just run these numbers like this, okay, and if I sell a product that pays me commissions for $50, and again, there's, you know, you got to know your numbers. Now, you know, there are some, obviously, you know, when you're promoting, like, for example, you know, I'm with Empower Network, you know, and every sign up for me personally is worth, even though it's only $25 on the front end, every sign up, the lifetime value for that sign up is worth $1,367 for me. Okay, so obviously, you know, this would be a steal. I mean, you know, I would do it all day long. Okay, you just it depends what you promote, right, and how much money you make. But again, I'm just breaking these down for you guys so that it makes sense, you know, so you understand how I break my numbers down. Okay, but let's say if all you made, there was no back end sales or nothing, right, no upsells. You know, you'd make $500, okay? Now, if I can spend 200 to make 500, I would do it all day long. And if I can make this work. Now, you may be promoting something that pays out $100, or maybe there is a back end, and maybe your lifetime customer value is $500 or $300. You see what I'm saying? Or maybe you are promoting maybe you're promoting a CPA offer that, you know, nobody needs to buy anything, you know, and maybe your conversion, you know, out of those people, maybe you're getting a 15%, all right? 15% conversion on that. Does that make sense? So you just got to play with numbers before you actually buy, okay? But as far as, actually going to leave this on, but as far as inventory, folks, there is virtually unlimited, okay? We can go to, let's go to buy, sell ads here again. we can go to business and finance here, for example. Okay, check this out. 285,000 monthly impressions. You know, work awesome. 225,000 monthly impressions. I actually wonder what that is. Okay, 210,000 impressions estimated. $6 per 1,000. That's a little high. Okay, that's a little high. I want to keep it down to about $2. So again, I would actually negotiate it. Now check this out. This will give me 210,000 impressions. Okay, for $240 straight up for 30 days. Okay, for 30 days. And this is a 300 by 200 banner. Okay, so this is something I might test. Okay. But buy-sell ads is one of the intermediate networks. Okay, another one, like I said, is let's see. Let me go back here. I want to show you guys a couple. We'll just pick some. Whatever. The Exaclick. Okay, let me show you the Exaclick. I actually have accounts with them. Okay, Exaclick. I'm going to log into my account. We'll go to new campaign. Here is how easy and here's how simple it is to run and to place an ad. I'm actually going to show you how to. We'll actually show these folks here. They have, I believe, 3.2 billion impressions every single day. Okay, guys. 3.2 billion impressions every single day. Now, here is how I would set up a campaign on Exaclick, and it's actually very similar with everything else that's out there. Okay. Campaign name. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to do this. Let's do this together because next Hangout we can. Next Hangout. We can come back and I can actually show you the results together. Okay, we can actually do this together. Hold on a sec. Oh. I'm going to log into my ClickBank account and go to Marketplace. Is this stuff? You guys with me so far? Okay, impressions. People are asking what impression is. Impression is when somebody sees your ad, when somebody goes to that site and your banner is displayed. Okay, it's called an impression. When somebody opened the website, they went to that website, it loaded up, and your banner displayed for them. Okay, it's considered an impression. Okay, let's go ahead and set up a campaign together. I'm just going to go to ClickBank here in a minute and go to Marketplace, and we'll just pick an offer. And I can't type and talk at the same time. Hold on. We'll pick an offer, and I'm going to run an offer. We're going to do it together. And then next time, I'm going to show you how it did and what it did. Now, I may need to optimize it after the Hangout and stuff as far as sending it to, creating a landing page for it, because every offer I promote, I always send traffic to my landing page. Okay, I usually never send traffic to the directly to the offer. Okay, but I'm going to show you guys how simple this thing really is. Okay, I'm going to let's share my screen with you guys again. Share screen. This is really simple. Okay. Go to ClickBank Marketplace. I'll just pick a product. Now, it doesn't have to be ClickBank, folks. I just want to show you something. All right, something. Now, Exaclick, this is more of an entertainment site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find something that would be mass appealing. Okay, a product that would be of a mass appeal product. Let me check out health. I saw there's a lot of health and fitness stuff. We're We're going to talk about selecting product and what I'm looking for and stuff like that, guys. Venus factor, what the heck is this?
Hello, the following presentation does.
Okay, so it looks like it's for women. Okay, just a video sales letter. Fat loss. Now this product has been on here forever. Fat loss. I'm just gonna pick this. I'm just gonna pick this product right here. Fat loss factor. Okay, so it's gonna pay me $40. Now you guys can promote this with any. You can apply this to anything out there. Okay, just for the fun of it, I wanna create a link, and I'm gonna promote this. Okay. Here's my link. Nice. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to name this campaign Fat Loss Factor. All right. I'm going to promote on web. Traffic type. I'm going to say category will be in entertainment. They also do looks like adult stuff, which I'm not into that. So I'm just going to keep it to entertainment. Ad format. Okay, tip number 2 or tip number whatever the number is. All right, guys, check this out. Stick with 300 by 250 banner sizes if you can. All right, 300 by 250 is the banner size that I'm going to test the first. I'm not going to test a bunch of them. A lot of people are just uploading all kinds of banners, and they're just kind of going blindly with this thing. I want to stick with one banner and see how that's going to perform. Okay, and if it performs good, then I'm gonna add other sizes of the same, of the same banner or similar banner. Make sense? So banner size, I'm just gonna stick with one, and I'm gonna target English-speaking countries, which is United States already here. Okay, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna get let's see, Australia. Though my friends are down under Australia. Where are you at? Right here. Okay, I'm gonna add Australia. I'm going to add Canada. All right, Canada. I'm going to add United Kingdom. Okay, UK. Right here. So I'm just going to target English-speaking countries because there's no point of me targeting, Uzbekistan. Those folks probably don't speak English anyway. So I'll be wasting my impressions. Okay. Now check this out. This particular selection, okay, is going to give me 1.5 million daily impressions. This is what I'm tapping into right here. Okay, 1.5 million daily impressions. Okay, and my banners are going to be posted on 490 sites, 490 websites, my friends. Okay, now let's take a look. Let's go further. Let's go to configuration and pricing. Okay, pricing model. I can do cost per thousand, right, CPM, or I can do, let's see, this particular site allows me to do cost per click, okay? So if I have a choice between cost per thousand and cost per click, I'm going to start testing cost per click because I want to get ROI as fast as possible, okay? Now, some of these sites will not allow you to get to price as cost per click. Okay, so a lot of these sites will just do cost per 1,000, which is fine. But if I have a choice between cost per 1,000 and cost per click, I will always go for cost per click because it's more efficient. Okay, frequency capping, there is no capping because there is cost per click. I'm only paying for clicks. Okay, now check this out. It's my CPC pricing, right? It's currently set to 1 cent per click. Now, I'm gonna run this on run on network. Okay, so I'm gonna view run on network prices, and I just want to see. I want to look at the minimums. Okay, for this particular for these particular countries that I selected. So Australia, it looks like it's 10 cents. Okay, United States. Let's see, United States. I had English-speaking countries for web traffic, right? 10 cents. So what I'm gonna do is. See, I can also target iPhones. I can target, all kinds of stuff, right? Which I'm not gonna get. I will not get into that stuff on this particular training. We might cover that later on. But it looks like 10 cents would be the minimum for me, that's recommended. Okay, guess what I'm going to do here? Instead of 1 cent here, I'm going to change it to 10 cents. All right, 10 cents per click. Yeah, if anybody of you guys remember when it used to be that we could advertise on Google for 13 and 15 and 20 cents per click. People made killing on that stuff, right? Well, here's back again. I mean, I'm tapping into 1.5 million impressions daily, all right? And I'm only going to pay 10 cents per click. Now, my daily maximum budget, of course, I'm not going to spend 10,000. I'm actually going to keep it very conservative. I'm going to say $50 per day. Ad group, I'll just leave it no group. Ad group, let's say if I wanted to promote, health and wellness products, and then there's maybe, marketing products, and maybe there's some CPA stuff, I would group them together, okay? Site targeting, I can do, now look at the difference, okay? 1.5 million impressions, 490 sites, okay? When we select run of network, okay? When I change it to premium, and I can actually select specific networks, then obviously, depending on which sites I'm going to promote, and I can check out the sites and stuff like that, then my impressions are going to change based on what sites I select. What I'm going to do is, guess what? Because I'm doing cost per click, right? I'm going to do run of networks. Okay? I'm just going to select this RON, and I'm going to tap into the 1.5 million impressions. Okay? Then I click on step 4 here, marketing material, and I need to just get myself a banner to load and a URL where to send traffic to. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to my ClickBank, right, where this offer is at. And again, whatever it is that you're promoting, let's say if you're promoting your own product, or maybe you're promoting, maybe it's Empower Network, maybe it's some kind of other company, maybe it's whatever it is that you're promoting, guys, right? What you can do is you can just go to a place like, $20banners.com, okay? $20banners.com, and you can get yourself banners created. Okay, $25, $24. They got different packages here. Okay, it's really not expensive. For this demonstration purpose, because I just want to see what this fat loss factor is going to do for me, I'm just going to see if they have some banners here. All right, weight loss factor affiliates. So let me get to their affiliate site and see if I can download some banners. Affiliate. Okay, marketing tools, banners. Okay, a lot of times these guys will give me, see, I already got all kinds of banners here. Okay, for this fat loss product. I don't like these. They're too generic. They're too cliche. They're too standard. I might take this cartoon one just to see how it's going to work. Okay. Now the size of the banner that I took was what? It was 300 by 250. Okay, 300 by 250, and I think that this is 300 by 250 right here. I'm going to save image as. I'm going to save it to my desktop. Okay, I'm going to take this image, and I'm also going to take another one, just so I can split test them. Let's see if there is another one. See, these are just too standard. I don't like. I mean, it's like it's going to fall into the banner blindness for me. I don't want to do that. I want to get something that's a little bit more. That's a little different. Okay, so we got the cartoon. I need another one here. 300 by 250. Let's see if we can get another one. 300 by 250. 300 by 250. Well, let me just take this one. I think this is 300 by 250 also. Save this as well. Okay. Come back over here. I'm going to upload my banners that I just saved. Alright. I'm going to enter my URL, which is my affiliate URL. But see, what I would do, folks, is I'm going to optimize this. I'm going to show you what I did, because I don't want to take the time right now. But here's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to create a landing page for this offer. Okay, I'm going to create a landing page for this offer. Well, those of you guys who have access to High Traffic Academy, you guys have Easy Landing Page Pro. Those of you guys who are in Big Idea Mastermind, you have Easy Landing Page Pro 2 that you can just, get those created. It's already, it's available to you. Okay, or you can just create, a landing page using whatever other landing page creators that you want out there. Okay, but I want to send traffic to the landing page. I want to capture those leads, and then I want to redirect them to this affiliate link right over here. Okay, and also what I would do is I would actually take that landing page and I would forward it onto the tracking link so that I can track my clicks. Okay, because I don't have the time to do that now, I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna put these up and then come back and tell you guys how that worked. Okay, I'm gonna upload another banner here. Okay, I might need to come back and upload it later, because that's already there and it might not take it. I might need to come back to this. Okay, advanced settings. This is retargeting. I'm not going to retarget it for now. I mean, I can later, but I just want to, see how it's going to do. Okay, so basically I just want to tap into the 1.5 million impressions. I'm going to say my campaign, and that's it. It's pending approval, folks. It's going to take like a day or a couple of days for them to approve me, and then once it's approved, I'm going to come back and I'm going to add another banner so I can split test the banners. Okay, and that's it. All right, I'm going to check my stats and see how it did. Now next time I'm going to show you guys how this particular offer did. But this is basically, I wanted to show you how simple it is to set up a campaign on these intermediate networks. Okay, very, very, very simple, as you saw that. Okay, that was the point. Now there's a couple of things I'm going to do. Again, I'm going to put a tracking link in here. I'm going to create a landing page and just change the URL where the banner is going when it's clicked. Okay, but that's pretty much it. Okay, let's come back, because we still have quite a few things to cover. So that's the intermediate buy example. And again, these are some of the networks. Actually, WAM network is pretty awesome. Exoclick is pretty awesome. All of these actually are cool networks. You guys can check them out if you want. Okay. All right. Big network buys. Okay. Gotta tell you a couple things about it, folks. You buy basically what you do here, and this is where a lot of people start, and that's a big mistake. Okay. You don't want to go to big networks right away. Okay. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. And I'm going to actually give you a blueprint, a formula for you to follow. All right, so you can scale this up. Now, but the idea here is basically you buy banner space across thousands of different websites. Okay, thousands. This is, I mean, the potential for scaling here is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, it's incredible. This is where you take your stuff and you can just, I mean, once it's working on a lower level for you, with the direct buys and intermediate buys, let's say if I ran that ad and it worked for me and I turned positive ROI, you know what? I'm going to turn around. I'm going to go to the big network. I'm going to say, hey, let's, set me up on a 30-day net, right? So I don't have to pay you for 30 days. I'm going to get a bunch of visitors to that site, right? Provided it converted for me on a small test. And this is how you go from literally, making $500 to, 20,000, in like a couple of days. I mean, it's really that simple. Okay. The potential for scaling is absolutely incredible. Now, it can be dangerous if you don't know your numbers. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay. Basically, you get positive ROI from your direct buys and intermediate buys, and then you scale big through network buys. Okay. Here are some couple pieces of advice I'm going to give you, free of charge. All right. You typically, when doing a big network buy, all right, you typically need to sign a contract with them, okay, an agreement. It's called the insertion order. And one thing that I highly recommend if you're going to go this route is make sure, if you guys are taking notes, this is a good thing to write down. When you are buying ads from big networks, okay, big networks, and when you have to sign a contract with them, right? Let's say, they say, okay, your insertion order is we're going to deliver 1 million or 5 million impressions for you over the next 30 days or whatever, right? Well, that's your contract, okay? Make sure, and this highly recommended. Some of them will not allow you to do this, but I suggest that you have an out clause written in the contract, basically meaning that you can back out. Okay, you can back out from your contract at any time you want. Okay, if you committed to buying, let's say, 500,000 or 1 million impressions, all right, because these are big buys, and if you don't see positive ROI on your first, in your first couple of days or whatever, then you have an ability to say, cancel my order, cancel my contract, and I'm not going to pay for the outstanding order, okay, because obviously the offer is not converting, okay? Now, normally, if you do it right, you will not have to, you will not run into that issue if you tested your stuff on a smaller scale and it converted for you on a smaller scale, okay? So I'm showing you this so that you understand how to do it when you do it. Make billing off of your server's numbers you're tracking. So what I like to do, and again, this is not the case every single time. They will not allow you to do this every single time, but anytime I can, is I want to pay for my impressions, pay for my stats, right? Based on my tracking. So I'm gonna set up my own tracking link that's on my server. And I will track my stuff, right? I'll tell them, I say, hey, look, I'm going to track my stuff because I want to track uniques, right? I don't know, if they're going to track unique clicks or impressions or not, so that I can pay based on my tracking, okay? And I give them access to my stats, and then they bill me based on my tracking. That's, that way you just make sure that you don't get screwed. Always run even delivery, okay? When you run a campaign on big networks, you will get traffic fast and furious. I mean, you can get, you can literally get 200 or 300,000 impressions in like an hour. I mean, that can drain your bank account faster than you can blink. Okay, so what I do is I always run my campaign evenly, for traffic. So let's say if I buy 1 million impressions over the last 7 days, or over the next 7 days, or over the next 30 days, right? I want to specify how many impressions I want to get per day, okay? And so I just want to even them out per day so that I don't get bombarded, and I don't know what's going on. There is a couple of things that I do need to warn you about, though, when it comes to big buys. And guys, if you are just getting started, if you haven't done the direct buys or intermediate buys yet, don't go here just yet. I mean, this is just out there. This is available for you, but this thing can be a little dangerous, if you don't know what you're doing, okay? But if you do know what you're doing, right, when you make this stuff work on a smaller scale, man, this becomes your, it's ridiculous what you can do with this, okay? There is a major risk of big losses, again, if you don't know what you're doing. You don't get you don't get a lot of information on which sites your ads are running with big networks, so they can just run your ads on sites that are not necessarily very targeted to your offer. That's kind of the downside. It takes some time to optimize it, just because you don't necessarily know what sites are running your ads. So it may take a little time to optimize. But this is a gold mine strategy if you know your numbers and have a good converting funnel, okay? And I'm actually going to do some trainings on that a little bit later. I just don't want to focus too much on this right now, okay? Here are some network buys, huge network buys, okay? Post 360, and typically you need to have deeper pockets to play with these guys, but this is for scaling. Okay, I'm just gonna fly through this. Here are some tips I want to tell you guys. Okay, these tips when you guys do your direct buys or intermediate buys, This is something you need to know. Okay, before you run an ad, you got to have something to sell. I mean, it's just simple as that. And if you have something that's a mass appeal offer, right, something that appeals to the masses, it's even better, so that you can just target it, and a lot of people will be interested in what you got to sell. Do your research on the product. When I research products, folks, again, don't have the time for actually going into too much details on this, but I'll tell you this. Competition is good, okay? I don't want to promote products that have no competition. A lot of people, they try to look for products with zero competition, startups and pre-launches and all that stuff. I'm not into that, that's not my game. I want to promote a product that already has huge competition. When I went into, when I got started with Empower Network, back in December, they already had like 60 or 70,000 members. Okay, and people were telling me, they were saying, Vic, you're crazy, man. There's no. I mean, this thing is this thing is saturated. What are you doing? But see, because I understand, right? I understand how to create campaign, right, and how to target, how to get people to take a look at what you got. It's not an issue. It's actually a good thing when a product has competition. Okay, because then what you do is it's already in demand, right? Then you just tweak your funnel just a little bit. You create a landing page that's a little bit different what everybody else has, right? And you just target that because it's selling, it's converting. People want that, and you capitalize on the momentum, but you tweak your stuff just a little bit, and you get massive, you get massive list for yourself. And even if I mean, obviously not everybody's going to buy your stuff right away, right? Let's say 2 or 3% of people buy, but you still captured, all of those people that opted in to your list, and you can promote other offers, similar offers to them anytime you want. And it's, and it's like, free marketing now. It becomes your free marketing. And now you're starting to build relationship with your list, and that's a whole another topic we can talk about maybe sometime later. Okay, but competition is good when selecting your product, when researching your products. You got to know your market, why people buy, what they buy. Think logically. What I do is I put myself in my customer's shoes. When I do promotions, when I do, when I set up campaigns, especially if I have control over how I'm going to target a campaign, right? Maybe I'm going to do a banner creation, right? Maybe I'm going to do a whatever, right? An email. I always put myself on the other side of the fence, right? I always put myself in my customers. If I was my own customer, what would I want? I talked about this, for those of you guys who attended my previous Hangouts, I talked about this before. I said, look, people don't buy products, right? People buy solutions. And if you can sell a solution, you will be a lot better off. Okay, don't sell products, sell solutions. People don't buy, weight loss, products or how-to information, how to lose weight, because they want, an ebook or whatever that would talk about how to lose weight. People don't buy ebooks, right? People buy because they want to lose weight. All right. If you're promoting, let's say if you're promoting a weight loss product and it's talking about your banner is talking about 5 foods not to eat, right? Don't send them to a site that talks about 5 foods they should eat, right? Because it's not, you see, it's contradicting each other. It's not congruent. You want to make sure that your marketing funnel is very smooth, right? You take them and your messaging is congruent from the beginning to the end, okay? And a lot of times what I would do is I would actually create my marketing pieces from the actual sales letter or a sales video from the product that I'm promoting. Okay, but just simple people's human psychology. Just kind of, if you think about that, how can you sell a solution? How can your product be of a solution? And what is that main thing that people will get from using your product? Okay, and target that. Talk about that in your message, and you should be good. Again, keep your message congruent. More success tips: prepare your campaign for domination. A lot of people just go at this thing blindly. They don't they don't take the time. They don't think their campaigns through. Okay, they just start a campaign and they go after the huge buys, they invest, $2,000, and they pray and hope that it's going to work for them, and they have no idea if it will or not. What I want to do is I want to prepare my campaigns for domination. I want to strategize a little bit. Again, you want to test on a smaller scale before you spend a lot of money, and you want to prepare it, right? So here's how I would prepare it. I would start with a banner size for this particular strategy. I would start with a banner size 300 by 250. That's it. Okay. Cut out all the other banners, all the other sizes. To start with, to run my test, this would be the banner I would run. This size. Okay. 300 by 250. I want to make sure that my banner, especially when I'm doing testing, I want to make sure that that banner is placed above the fold if possible. Okay? Above the fold is very important. And I want to start small. I want to go do direct buys. I want to do intermediate buys. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. I forgot to tell you this. I told you that I would show you this. Before I forget, let me do this right now. How to find direct advertisers, right? So let's say we go, let's just take a look at this, right? So we go to AdPacks, okay? 13 million impressions here. Take a look at this site right here, okay? $1,500 for 30 days, 650,000 impressions. Let's see if they have this banner size. See, they don't have 300 by 250 banner size. Not available. Let's check this out. AdPacks.com. Okay, we just go to this site. A lot of times, if you just go and just go to contact right here, okay, you go to contact. See, it says want to advertise. Okay, you just contact them and you just say, hey, I would like to run some banners on your site. I would like to run a 300 by 250 banner on your site. What would be the price point, what would be the availability, all the good stuff. You don't even mention that you found them on buy-sell ads, okay? But you go directly to them, and what you're doing is you're going to cut out this middleman, okay? You're going to cut out buy-sell ads. Now, if they have an exclusive agreement with buy-sell ads, then they won't sell you, okay? And they'll tell you to go back through their agent, which in this case is buy-sell ads. But a lot of times these folks will not. I mean, a lot of times they will just, they don't care. What you do is you're going to save a lot of money. You're going to save about 20 to 30%, okay, by cutting out this middleman, if you can. All right. So anytime I have an ability to do that, I always do that. Just go directly to the owner of the website. Maybe promoting some kind of gaming offers. Look at that, 54 million monthly impressions. Whew. Look at that, 2 million, 3 million impressions, right? 3 million impressions. Angry Birds Nest. If you got a CPA offer with something to do with Angry Birds, man, look at that. $1.50 per 1,000 impressions. Look at that. 10 million inventory per month. Okay, 728 by 90, 300 by 250. Look at that. This is the banner size we need, right? You see that? 10 million impressions, $1.50. I bet if I go to this network, I bet if I go to this owner of this website directly and I say, hey, can I place, this is 300 by 250 right here, this is the banner right here. So if you're running a, some kind of offer, maybe it's a CPA, whatever, right? And you just go to this guy right here and you say, instead of them charging you $150 per 1,000 impressions here, I bet if you go to this guy, you can probably negotiate it down and run your banner right over here for like 70 cents, maybe 75 cents per 1,000 impressions. Okay? Do you guys see the power of this thing? Is this helping you? Let me know in the comments. Okay, and here, I mean, you're typing into 10 million impressions per, or up to 10 million impressions per month. Okay, up to 10 million impressions per month. So if you run Let's say if I get 500,000 impressions, right? At a dollar, right? That would be like $500, okay? $500 for 500,000 impressions. I mean, I mean, you're tapping into some absolutely ridiculous trick. That's very, very cheap. Okay, that's how you find direct buys from intermediate. Okay, and then once that stuff is working for you, then you do a rollout. Then you go to a big network. Okay, here's a biggie. You want to make your publishers. You want to make people that you do business with, especially those site publishers, right? You want to make them your allies. Don't look at them as your as somebody that you need to fight with. Negotiate with, and put them in the corner and pin them in the corner and try to get the most out of them. Look, they're in business to make money, right? They're in business to sell you advertising. You're in business to sell stuff, right? So you want to pay as low as possible, and they want to sell you stuff for as much as possible. Okay, so but if you can make your publishers and your ally and your representatives your allies, right? If you can put yourself on their side of the table, all right, it's gonna pay off long term. Trust me. Okay, then you can come back to them and you guys can do more business, and they'll actually refer you. I don't want to do one-time deals with people. When I run my ads, I want to. If it works for me, I want to come back to them, right? I want to have a source to where I can go to when I need traffic and when I need to get traffic on demand. I can go to, and it's proven, and I have friends who will help me. Okay. Know your stats. Your cost per thousand. Obviously, we talked about that. Your earnings per click. Okay, earnings per click, which is out of for every single click that your site or your offer gets, okay, what is the average? What is your average earnings for that? Okay, so you take 1,000 clicks, and based on what your conversion rate is, you calculate what is that per click. Okay. Your cost per click, your cost per acquisition. Okay, how much does it take? I mean, these are a little bit advanced numbers, guys, and again, some of you guys, are like looking at this like, what is that? Listen, don't worry. I mean, this is something that's going to come to you. I just wanted for you to see the big picture here. Okay, I will actually have a homework for you, for those of you guys who are up to it or up for it. If you're promoting a business opportunity, or if you're promoting something that has to do with customer lifetime value, there's a recurring billing, if there is something that would, if there is a back end of some sort, right, then you want to calculate what's your lifetime value for your customers, okay? With Empower Network, for example, I've been, Big Idea Mastermind, my personal, my personal lifetime value, not even a lifetime value, but average customer value. If somebody signs up for $25 on the front end, okay, every $25 sign up is worth for me $1,365 or $67. Okay, so I know that. So anytime when I acquire a new sign up and it's less than, and I pay less than $1,300 to acquire that sign up, all right, or to acquire that, I'm in profit. You know what I mean? And if you know your numbers, then you have room to play with. You have an ability to scale things. You have, you have some options. Start a spreadsheet and record your data. Okay, just do that. I might give you guys some other cool stuff here shortly. Just kind of watch your email if you're on my list. If you were invited here by somebody from either Big Idea Mastermind, some of our folks, we'll get you guys some cool stuff here over the next couple weeks. Some tools that will help you with this deal. Okay, and then what you do is you leverage this data on your new buys. Okay, safe averages for your cost or your click-through rate rather. I would say, if you could just, when you do your estimations, if you can estimate about 0.5% for the click-through rate, okay, then you should be fine. So when 100 people see your banner on the website, okay, how many of those people are going to click? That's the click-through rate. Okay, and so generally, I'd say low average is about 0.5%. So if you just calculate that, just like I did in the beginning, you should be fine. Again, a lot of times, if your banner is good, you might get, 0.75% click-through rate, 0.8, which is even better. Okay. When doing big buys, this is not for everybody, but for those of you guys who will do big buys, there's just a couple pieces of advice I'm going to give you. Okay. Again, I talked about the out clause. You want to make sure that you will be, you can back out from your contract, 24 hours or 48 hours or 7 days. What's the out clause? Okay. If it doesn't work for you for some reason, you don't want to be stuck with the entire, the entire buy. You want to make sure that you have your delivery set up to be even. Okay. Frequency cap. This is also important. This only applies to big network buys. Okay. This does not apply to so much for the direct buys or intermediate buys. This is for big network buys. You want to make sure that your ad is displayed once every 24 hours. This is where I start with. Okay, one time per 24 hours. A lot of times they will, if you don't tell them this, they'll display your ad 50 times per day. Okay, and it occurs. Impressions, it just builds impressions and you pay for those impressions, but it's the same people seeing your impressions. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that it gets displayed once per IP address per 24 hours. Okay? If I can, I want to pay based on my stats, not their stats, and I think that's it. So what we're going to do, folks, okay, what we are going to do, let me come back here to you, make sure that you guys are still with me. I was actually, I had my iPad here next to me so I can take a look at the comments if we have any questions, but my iPad just died, so I don't have an ability to see the comments, but you know what? I think I may. Hold on a sec here. I want to make sure that you guys are with me on this stuff. Okay? Let me know in the comments. I know this is like a minute delayed, but let me know if this stuff is making sense to you. See, what we want to do is I gave you guys a lot of information here tonight, okay, as far as Banner Media. This strategy right here, okay, this strategy can get you very, very targeted traffic, virtually as much as you want, okay, and you can get it for about anywhere from 30 to 40, 60 cents per visitor, okay, but that visitor is not a computer-generated visitor because somebody actually has to see your ad, they have to click on your ad, all right? And just like we did with the Exoclick network, right? We only pay when somebody clicks on our ad, and we're gonna pay 10 cents in that case. Okay. So is this stuff cool so far, guys? Because listen, this is just the beginning. I've got some really, really good stuff for you coming up in part 2 and part 3. Hold on a sec here. Let me get Big Idea Mastermind traffic Hangout. All right. I think my computer is lagging. Or it's the network, or it's the Hangout, or something is lagging here. Maybe there's probably a lot of comments coming in. I don't know. But anyway, guys, hope that this Hangout was beneficial for you. Okay. Hold on. I gotta get back. Okay, here I am. Cool. See, I'm still learning this stuff, right? This Google Hangout thing is still kind of new to me. What we're gonna do is over the next couple of weeks, we're gonna do part 2 probably next week, and then part 3. What I want to do is I want to teach you guys some things that you can start applying in your business right away. Okay, and at the end of this little training series that we're going to do together, right? My goal is I want you guys to be equipped and and knowledgeable, all right, enough to go out there and be able to get yourself 5,000 or 10,000 visitors per day, okay, to your stuff. Now, we will cover some things that will be on even lower cost, okay, traffic. Now, there's some things that you can do with email agencies, and there's some things that you can do with mobile marketing. That's really hot, that you can tap into a lot of traffic. I mean, millions and millions of visitors for literally like 1 to 2 cents per visitor. We're going to cover that stuff, folks, okay? Let me know in the comments if you got some value from this tonight, okay? We're going to wrap this up. We've been going on here for almost 2 hours, so we're going to cut this short now. I will see if I can post this presentation slides for you guys somewhere below the video, so you can come back and you can download it, you can review them if you want to, whatever, and that's about it. Okay, watch for my email if you want to attend these. Part 2 is going to be a different topic. It's still going to be advanced traffic getting strategies that you can apply. Here's your homework for tonight. Okay, here's your homework. If you want to do that, okay, here's your assignment. Go ahead and find an offer. Okay, if you don't already have an offer, you should all have an offer to promote. Okay, if you don't already have an offer, find an offer, create a separate landing page for it, okay, and put a test out there, okay, spend like $50, okay, and buy some impressions and see how it's gonna do for you, okay, between now and next week. My intention is I want to, I want to create success stories, man. I want to give you guys some insights and some things. Here's the thing when it comes to traffic. When it comes to traffic, not everything is going to work for you 100%, and you're not going to hit a bullseye from the first try, okay? You might hit very close to it, right? You might get profitable, but that's why I tell you and I stress that, you got to start on a lower scale, okay? Don't be crazy with it. Don't spend too much money. Don't borrow money to run a campaign. All right. Start small. Start with $50. Okay. There's a lot of publishers that will allow you to run an ad for like a month for 30 to 40, $50. Okay. If you have that, start at that level. Okay. See how it goes for you. You may need to tweak your ads. You may need to tweak your banners. Right. You may need to maybe advertise with a couple of publishers, okay, and see how it's going to go for you. The beautiful part is you can make this work, okay? A lot of people just don't take the time to master anything. A lot of people just, they just dabble, right? They just dabble into this thing a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. They're scattered all around. They're not masters of anything, okay? They're they're jacks of all trades and masters of nothing. You know what I mean? You don't want to be that. Focus on one thing, understand it, all right, and then move on to another thing, okay, and then add that to your arsenal. But when you focus on this, see, this particular strategy, again, it can give you virtually, well, I don't want to say unlimited, because there's actually, a limit. It can give you traffic into billions of impressions, okay, per day. Billions. I mean, it's virtually unlimited for you as a marketer. Okay, for me as a marketer, we'll never tap into 1 billion impressions per day. Even though that inventory is available, we'll never tap into that. Okay, this stuff. If all of us right now, we got 3,000, 4,000. I don't know how many people we got here on this hangout right now. But if everybody would go out there, okay, and start setting up campaigns doing this particular strategy, we would not even scratch the surface, because there's just so much out there. People say, Vic, why are you sharing this stuff for free, man? This is this stuff it should be kept secret. Yeah, we can keep it secret, since if you get my emails, if you're getting emails from somebody who is on Big Idea Mastermind, and you guys, our intention as a team here with Big Idea Mastermind, folks, is we want to give value, okay, to our followers, to our subscribers, to our to our friends and people that are following us, okay? And my personal intention is, I just want to create success stories. I mean, the traffic is unlimited, all right? It's going to come down to you. If you apply this, how well you do your testing, And then what we can do is we can have follow-up. We can have follow-up hangouts to where we can just have Q&A, sessions. And just kind of watch for your email. We'll let you know when that happens. Okay. Right now, on your right side over here, I believe. Yeah, it's right here because it's my right is your left and vice versa. So I think it's right over here. Go ahead and claim your free gift. It's the 48-hour traffic machine. It's the CPVR traffic method. It's a little bit of a different strategy. Still explain that module is actually I pulled it out from High Traffic Academy. And I want you guys to have it for free. Okay, no strings attached. Go through it. Hope that hope it makes sense to you. Hope you resonate with it. Apply it. Let me know how it goes for you. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Until next time. See ya. Have a good night. Bye bye.